welcome to the show. Welcome to Hope Channel Kenya Light in the Family. You're watching The Identity. I'm your host, Samuel Mangi. Thank you for being with me as I embarrass myself as I take my first lesson on guitar. HTN kitu imekuuma sana.
Kwa nini?
Karibu sana lakini. Amu Ntambo, thank you for joining us again on set. And Sharon Dama, karibu tena sana.
Thank you.
And Gloria Bonareri, vipi? Uko fiti? It's been long. Karibu lakini, thank you very much. And I feel you know why we are doing a lot of guitar today, but then karibuni sana to the show. Now today, we're going to talk about time. I want to urge you that you could follow us on Facebook, that is Hope Channel Kenya, and on Twitter at Hope_Kenya. Join in the conversation, share with us what you think about the show, except the guitar part. Please don't talk about the guitar. Lilo na shake kichwa kwa hiyo story yani. Watu wanatoka mbali. But you can also find me on Facebook at Samuel Mangi and on Twitter at Sami Mangi. Now today we're going to talk about time again. Karibuni.
Thank you.
Now time has been an issue for us youths, and we have failed to use it properly, and sometimes we have actually some of us have used it quite properly. Sindio? And before we start, there's something I read as I was writing about time is something funny that actually Albert Einstein said. I was asking what time is. He said time is what clock measures. I'm like, so that's what clock measures. So then some physicist called John Wheeler said, time is what prevents everything from happening. I was like, okay. This is very interesting.
In a good way, though.
In a good way.
Yeah.
This is what prevents other things from happening. Okay, you can say good or bad, Cindy.
Yeah.
But then I was left to wonder, what is time? What is time? Ni nini? Saa ni nini except here. You're even pointing at the wristwatch. What is time, HT?
I think it's about time. We talked about this time topic.
This time issue in the time in the topic.
Yes. That definition, the second definition that you've alluded to, it's actually incomplete. That guy actually said, time is what prevents everything from happening at once. Yes. But that's a philosophical.
Yeah, there's one to look at it. I guess me nilichukua ile part in consider it. Okay.
Very interesting.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Curious.
But then what's your definition of time? Leave alone the psychologist, physicist, and everything.
Time is a measure of change.
Measure of change.
Yes, it's a measure of change from one moment to another. So I'm lifting my finger, but at some point I wasn't lifting my finger. So what has happened between my finger being here and me lifting it? That is time. That's change. Yes.
Okay, Dama, what is time?
Time is a window of opportunity.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Interesting. That is very interesting. Why would you say that?
Time is a window of opportunity because every moment, every second that you have, it's like that environment that allows you to do A, B, C, D. So time, I'd call it a window of opportunity. It's raw material for you to make it into something better.
Window of opportunity. Gloria.
Time is money.
What? Thank you.
I mean, it's just be real. Simply, time is money. Time is a resource. Time is expensive. I mean, time is money. Yeah, time is an asset. Yes.
Can I read the dictionary definition?
Please do. Documents.
Time is the inevitable progression into the future with the passing of present events into the past.
Ati?
Yes. I also didn't understand it. The inevitable progression into the future with the passing of present events into the past.
Okay, so
yeah, we can think about it.
Yeah.
I'm still tantamounted about that.
My sister, let's just do this. Let's just say Alisema. As we go on with the program, it might make sense as we discuss.
Yes.
It's something about the future, present, past,
and tomorrow and yesterday.
So when nilisema time is what clock measures akukosea.
Yep.
Akukosea. And when nilisema time is what prevents everything from happening, or all things happening from the same time. Akukosea pia. Okay.
It's a difficult thing to define.
It's just difficult.
But to me, it's very simple.
Time is money.
Time is money. You can't lose it. I mean, how can you waste your energy to waste that thing. You save so much.
Okay, sawa.
Yeah.
Let us
Please ask her to explain what she means by time.
Time is money.
Because I know money is money.
I think we'll get to know more about this as we let us not stick on the definition.
Yeah.
Get mesmerized and puzzled about what is time. Now, time is even to everyone. But then there are people who have used time in a good way, in a bad way. Time has actually there's a quote that I read. The difference, I think you quote ishapotea. But then, time is what differentiates the things from happening, as you said, and where the current and the present. But then, there are people who use time negatively and positively. I guess we should start looking at that and then boil it down to us as youths. How do we use our time? Because I'm sure we youths have fallen victim to use our time. Mpaka inafikanga time imefika time yenye unasema I wish I knew. I could have done things differently. Now today we want to not wish that we knew, but then let us talk about this so that we can get to know how best we can use our time. But then, how has time been used, both positively and negatively, in your wildest imaginations? HT?
You know, I'm just wondering if we use time or if time uses us. But I'm kidding.
That is one that you look at it.
We have 24 hours in a day. Not 25, not 23, just 24. And that never changes.
And nani aliweka 24 hours in?
God.
God said it's 24, like from
The rotation of the earth
uh,
around, a complete rotation of the earth around the sun takes 24 hours. But I thought that was obvious.
Like simply Genesis chapter 3 verse 1. Is it 1 verse 3? Yeah. There was day and there was night. There was light and dark. Yeah, that's 24 hours. Yeah.
That's 24. I just wanted to have that physics part of okay, you could rotate and then 24. So Gondolian state as in state ni kitu tulijiwekea.
Sasa
Sindio?
yes. Sasa Archimedes. But it's okay. So you only have 24 hours in a day. And there you've said the difference between people who fail and people who succeed at anything is how much time they use out of these 24 hours. So if you're asking how people use time badly and how people use time well, I guess the answer to that question is whatever you're doing, is it productive and is it sustainable? Because you might do something which might not necessarily look wrong, like sleeping. If you wanted to sleep 20 hours out of the 24, the more the merrier. But sleeping for 20 hours, is it productive? Is it something that will bring, will make it easier for you to live your life? Or is it something that will make other people's life interesting? So that's how I would differentiate between people who use time well and people who do not.
Dama?
When we say she lived from 1963 to 1992, that little dash in between there, that's called life, that's called time. And what makes the difference is what you did in that dash, that little dash of yours.
I'm sorry, are you being poetic?
You guys say hard things.
Last time you were poetic about literally everything. Says I'm like, okay, kuna poem hapo. I don't know, Gloria tengia na alto hapo, soprano, fortitude.
I'm coming.
It's just a statement, you know, like 1963 to 1992. That little dash, that's the window of opportunity, like I'd call it. And what you do within that time frame, that's what makes your legacy, that's what makes who you are, and that's what differentiates and draws the line between whether you used your time properly or you used it, you know, wastefully.
There's my favorite quote about time. I have noted it down. Time is non-refundable. Use it with intention.
Time is non-refundable.
Use it with intention.
Can I write that?
Please have fun.
I should have pen.
I mean, use your time positively. In our lives, since we were born, there is that goodness we've done. There's a badness which is wasting time. Like most of the people who don't have jobs, let me talk about jobs because it's the major thing in the youths today. You leave school. In Kenya, we use high school, primary school. You're done. Then after high school, then what? Stay home. Some parents are so eager to take their kids to driving school, computer school, etc.
French.
Yes,
the summer
Italy,
HT.
Japanese, whatever. But now, there are those who wake up in the morning, anapata house help amepika chai. He or she spends time the whole day doing nothing. That's negative because you eat, sleep, sit. There's nothing so good you've done. And you've just said time is non-refundable. So why can't you like be business oriented? I mean, do I say, go ahead, think of something, think about your life, because sitting and sleeping and eating won't change anything. You'll be like a doormat, stepped on every day, yeah, as much as it has work. And the positiveness is that get yourself busy, use your energy, you're a youth, we are all youth, no matter your age. It's you to differentiate what's your purpose in life.
Sijui kama Mango atasema yeye ni youth. Pole. Lakini
But-
sijui kama
But I mean, it's energy. We all have that little thing, yeah.
You're
Sorry.
saying?
I know a few people who are probably not youth, but
Yeah.
So yeah, and another one is the key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities.
Ish.
Hebu rudia tena tafadhali. Wezi kutumia
The key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but schedule your priorities. Have a plan about yourself.
You've brought in a new aspect of planning of time.
Yes.
And I think she'll talk about it. We have somebody. There's one person who said, a friend of mine that told me, actually, my director is one who we were joking with some time back, and we were. I don't know. I can't remember clearly what we were talking about. But then he said, when your grandfather was sleeping, my grandfather was working.
You know.
And I was like, okay, pause. Sijui umemaanisha nini, lakini I will laugh at it. But then it made me think. There's how we use time that is adversely going to affect us, not only us, but to our future generation.
Yes.
That's right.
But then, so that means we should plan about our time. And as much as it is non-refundable, we should use it with intent. And I come through for.
I know, right?
So, why should we plan time? As much as tumesema, we don't want to sleep as others are working. Why should we plan time? Because, man, as much as it's non-refundable, you equally got it free. Sindio, you didn't
Yeah.
apply for it. So why should we plan time?
Time is essential. You have to plan it because time is like a fruit. It's perishable. If you don't keep up with it, if you don't have your priorities planned, if you don't have your schedules, if you don't make time for your own self and learn to say no, then, I mean, what's your need?
On a light note, as you said, time is like a fruit. If you don't keep up with the appetite, itaisha. Itaharibika.
I hope that fruit is avocado.
Apparently, kuna fans wengi wa avocado hapo.
I can't say.
Except me. HT.
Are you okay?
Perfectly.
You don't like? Okay, fine. Your time will come. You'll be converted.
To avocado.
Yes. I'd like to read the Bible. Yes.
Please do.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1.
Yes.
It says, to everything there's a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. So planning is essential because even in heaven's council, as it were, there's a time for everything. So when you need to sit down and plan and know a time to, okay, I don't think a time to kill, but the Bible here says a time to kill and a time to, there's a time for everything. And if you're not planning properly, then you're going to be very clumsy. And in essence, you're even going to violate the biblical principle that there's a time for everything.
As I bring in Dharma, I think equally the Bible says that God is a God of order.
For sure.
And if my English is right, order is next to planning.
For sure.
Yeah.
Dharma.
Why should we plan time? Two main reasons. Number one, to make maximum use of, to bring the best out of everything. Yeah. So if you use your time properly, if you maybe use your time in school properly, you'll get the best grades out of it. If you use your time at work properly, you'll get the best out of it. The second reason is to save yourself from unnecessary heartache and drama in life. Like for instance, people are so prone to this thing in school of it's called copy paste delete. When exams come around and stuff. But if you actually did plan your time, you wouldn't have to. The whole night you was just up, cold water, which doesn't work, and all these other funny things that we do. So, those two main reasons, I'd say, are the reasons why we should manage.
So we should plan our time properly, because one, it started from heaven with the planning, because
Yes.
God actually planned of his 6 days,
Yeah.
and that's how we came to be. So it's not like God is clumsy ati akona vitu mingi ziko disorganized ziko zile za sasa leo nafikiria leo. God is orderly. So if you are to first learn from anyone, let's start with God.
Yes.
God is the perfect person to learn with, so that we can learn how to plan our time. I think what you've said is quite something that we can talk about, because if we are to emulate our planning, well, we should start from the biblical time, because God started out with the planning his 6 days. That's why the first day there was day and night, and as in from even how the Bible starts, it's clear, it's planned out. So if you're to emulate anyone, you should start with God in regards to planning time, because as the Bible says, God is an orderly God, so we are to worship him in watu wangu
Truth
Truth
and
and
spirit.
and nime merge verses mbili, but it's all into his glory. Let us learn to use time properly, and that brings me to, we youths are used to one big problem. Kuna kitu days I was watching some quote on TED, some show, that somebody said there is a big monster called procrastination, and we suffer a big time to it.
In fact, when you mention it, I'm scared.
Yeah, kuna vile. What is
Chills.
procrastination kwanza? Before we start, you imagine that we all know it's procrastination.
Give Gloria to give us a cover.
Please drop it.
Procrastination
Drop
is postponing things.
Mhm.
Actually, to me, it's postponing things. Yeah.
I was supposed to eat breakfast, but me push.
Wacha tu ni push kidogo because there's something just came up. Yeah.
Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
No, it's a bad thing. That's mismanagement of time.
Yeah.
Completely.
Okay.
Very strong
Dama,
sentiments.
that is very
Yeah.
strong. Ameshinda kuretaliate. Dama.
Procrastination, I'll call that the disease of knowing that you should do, but you don't.
Yeah.
We have decided to brand procrastination as a big disease. I'm calling it a monster, you're calling it a disease. What other terminologies do you have, my friend?
Procrastination is death. No, I'm kidding.
In one or the other.
Yes,
In one or the other.
yes, it is. The definition that's been given here is to procrastinate is to delay taking action, to wait until later. So really,
Yeah.
what Madam Wisdom here said.
Oh my. Oh my. Yes.
Yeah.
Don't.
No
Don't
offense.
let
No
it get-
offense taken. No
don't-
offense taken.
No, I'm telling her not to feel too good, but yeah, that is a good point. She made a good point that it's, you know what you're supposed to do, but you wait, you postpone doing it. Yeah, and you know some things you can't procrastinate.
But in some you can.
Yeah,
Like,
not that you can, but you should. Okay, you can,
I
but you should.
was not grilling you.
Yeah, you're putting me on the spot.
I was not grilling you. So, why should we not procrastinate? As much as we're saying ni vibaya, unajua you can say it ni mbaya. But then what effects do we go through? Can we suffer from procrastinating?
Yeah, we
Let's
can.
not just talk about it. Let's give
State
the
it.
issues. Yeah.
Okay, as much as you're saying let's not talk about it, it's one thing I'm fighting and I've learned to walk away from it. I was a good procrastinator. That's
A
why
good
I'm so
procrastinator.
bitter about time.
Procrastination.
I was so good at procrastinating things. I'm in about postponing. You know, laziness is a bad disease. Actually, that's another thing. But procrastination,
Laziness na procrastination.
procrastination brings inefficiency, time wasting, improper plan of yourself. You just accept everything just to please yourself. You don't have time for yourself, but you have time to please
Yes, so.
yourself due to comfort. You know, yeah, that's what I can say about tips about effects of procrastination.
Number 2, tunachelewa kufanya vitu na tunakosea watu wengine. Number 3.
I normally like this saying. I normally tell people that the world will never stop moving, but you can stop the world. But
For
even
moving, Ama.
let me just complete this.
Okay.
So yes, the world never stops moving, but you can stop the world. But even as you do that, know that the world will not stop. So what do? Change your pace. Change your pace. So procrastination is something that will make you miss out on a lot of other possible good things that you could have done, instead of, when you're just keeping it So you wouldn't get the maximum good out of what you could possibly have gotten. And secondly, it will be building a greater, we say in Kiswahili, usipoziba ufa utajenga ukuta. Yes, that. So, so when you procrastinate, you're literally going to build that wall. You're going to bring more damage.
So that you don't build a wall, my director is telling me you're talking about time. We should try and keep time. Let's
Yes.
go. Let's move in to a talent segment. I started off with a guitar. Now I guess right now you'll get to see what you're talking about this guitar. Let's have time and let's meet after this break. And don't go. Please share your views on our social media platforms. Hope Channel Kenya, that's Facebook, and Twitter, that's Hope_Kenya. Share, tweet, tell us about what you think about this discussion. I choose not to embarrass myself again, but we do hope that that talent segment from our friend Maurice was helpful to our spiritual growth. We are still discussing about time and you and the identity. Please don't forget to interact with us on our social media platforms. On Facebook is Hope Channel Kenya. On Twitter is @Hope_Kenya. I can also find me on Facebook is Samuel Mangi, and on Twitter is @Sami Mangi. Let's talk about this, because if you don't, you might lack time to save time on what we have used.
You just became a
PhD.
poet.
I just became a poet all of a sudden. It is an influence when you put it's flowing. Now, as we're going for the break, she left us up. She left us with a very nice. I don't know. I choose not to paraphrase it because I might water down the whole thing. No, kumtalisikia kasema, I'll take that home. Love Samia karibu. I'll choose not to go with that, but I would like us to progress into time. Now that we've talked about, it's good to plan. We've known what time is, and we've known the adverse effects that will come if we procrastinate and not manage our time wisely. But then now, we have talked about it, but then there are time wasters, isn't it? And there are tips on how we can manage our time. Let's first go with what are these time wasters, and how can we manage our time? Tips of time wasters. Our Eddie?
Our prof.
Our prof. Oh,
This
yes.
quote
Our
stuff.
quote. It takes so much energy to wish as it does to plan.
It takes so much energy to wish that
Yes.
plan.
Yes.
My
Hizi
goodness.
quote ulitoa wapi by the way? Hizi vitu
the-
zinakuja mingi
I
sana.
told you I am suffering. So,
From time.
yes,
Nakuma.
the way I talked about inefficiency and frustration and all that, you can save it by making a plan. As we just said, create a plan, create a program, create a calendar, have a calendar of yourself. And we should also know types of time. There is superior time, which is time for if you're working, time for the boss. There is, I have them, I jot them down, sorry for that.
Of course, can we also discuss about it?
Yes. We have organizational time, which is self-imposed, imposed time to complete demands at your workplace and all that. Then we have interaction imposed time, which is time for meetings, phone calls. You just don't wake up in the morning and start calling someone, sasa. By the way, nakumbuka ile story ya jana. You know, there's time for everything. Even the person you're calling, that person should have, you should also learn how to create time, to know what time should I call someone, what time should I do this and that. Yeah. And there's self-imposed time, which is time for yourself. Everyone has time for himself. Yeah.
Wow. So I would like to, first of all, I don't know if it's right to correct. You said something about supreme time?
Superior time.
Superior time. For me, I'll say, and how I wish that this be our plea, let us make God our superior time.
I know, amen.
Because if I give my superior time to my boss, then there's nobody bigger than him. Let's give God first priority. If you job omba, if class omba,
Amen.
let's make him first in everything, so that in that way we can be able to move swiftly with our day. We were talking about time wasters. Number one, for me, let me just start with phone.
Hey.
Kwani nyie ni victims wa hiyo? It's too menyamaza. Number two, what can you add to it?
Phone is one of them. Basically, indulgence. Indulgence. Even if you're doing something good, but you're doing too much of it, you're taking up too much time. So phones, time you spend watching TV, in as much as this program is on TV.
Please watch.
Time we spend in unproductive conversations.
Yes.
Yes. When we were
Those are time wastage.
Yeah,
wasters.
when we were younger, there was a place we used to sit with my friends. We used to call it Jobless Corner.
Ooh.
Everyone has a place.
Okay.
Oh, everyone else, I didn't know.
No, not me.
Neither do.
Not me. Jobless corner.
Yeah, so basically, the way I said at the beginning, anything that you're doing that's not productive in the long run is a time waster. It could be a good thing like reading, but if you're going to read from evening to evening or from morning to morning, then that's time wasting again.
Time wastage.
Because you're denying yourself time to
do other things.
which are also just as important. Yeah. And it's everyone is a time waster in a way. Yeah. They may not be wasting time with the same things, but
In different things.
yes.
Dama.
Well, they've said pretty much most of the things, but ideally, it's time management is more or less related to temperance, yeah? And we say temperance is the total abstinence from that which is bad and doing in moderation that which is good. And that's the thing about, time management. So just like what they said, to sum it up, pretty much it's all about temperance and knowing that you are a steward of time.
There's a friend of mine who takes 1 hour to eat. I don't know if you can say eating is another time.
Yeah, it is a big one.
It depends.
It depends.
Yeah, it depends.
Anakula 1 hour.
It depends on why he's eating for an hour.
He claims that he's a slow eater.
Okay, that's a bit too much.
A bit too much. Yeah. So my friend, improve. Don't let food be your time waster.
Anajijua.
Najijua paliuko. I won't mention it.
Hatusemi ni nani.
But then I think equally, I've mentioned it once and said that the poison is on the dose. We might say phone is a time waster, but then sometimes you need to communicate and, but when you overuse something, just to repeat what you said, when you overuse something and it spreads to other things that you're supposed to do, that in itself is a time waster. You cannot tell you that reading is a time waster, yet you're reading for your exams, or you're reading for. Invest and read in it, but then do not overdo it. The poison is on the dose. But then we can talk about the time wasters. But then, now that I have known these are the time wasters, what are the tips to save this time? Because I've known this, but then how can I digress and start doing the right thing the right way? What are the tips? Gloria?
I've repeated it severally.
I even know it. Planning.
Planning, that was our first thing. Focus.
Yes. Focus on your time. Focus on your plans. Have utasemaje, kuwa na mwongozo venye unafaa uende. Block out distractions. Procrastination, the biggest disease.
The biggest monster.
God, why? Delegate. Prioritize. Yes, have a calendar.
Do not juice everything.
No. Don't be clumsy.
Don't be clumsy.
Yes,
Don't
don't multitask.
Multitask?
Yes, unajua ile umechanganyikiwa, like, by the way, nimesahau. You do this, you make a call, you make a meeting, you do this, you do that.
Lakini almost all our lady friends unasemanga, hey, I'm very good at multitasking.
No, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing.
Hakuna, there's nothing like that.
There's nothing like I'm a good multitasker. Ninakuongelesha nikikata mboga.
You won't succeed.
Utachagua moja.
No, you won't succeed.
Kama ni mboga, chukua mboga uende.
Yes. Yeah. And also learn to say no. Learn to say no. That's a big thing people don't know how to do.
We engage ourselves too much.
Yes. Can we meet kesho? Yeah, sawa na come. And yet that tomorrow you have something very constructive
Pressing,
to do.
yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can add anything.
You can. Please have fun.
Usually, I have this acronym that guides my day-to-day activities. It's don't worry. It's a lot of letters, but I've memorized it.
It's okay.
STCTTUSS. STC means start a task to completion. When you're doing something, make sure you finish it. I think I've noticed from my own experience, when you start something, leave it halfway, do something, at the end of the day you find you've wasted a lot of time. Double T is what she said, perform a task at a time. No matter how confident someone feels that they can do many things, a jack of all trades is a master of none.
Yeah.
At least I've given a program. I hope our viewers have taken note.
Congratulations.
Yes, a jack of all trades. So perform a task at a time. It will save time. And then you perform unpleasant tasks first. I've noticed that if I wake up and I'm supposed to study the Bible or check my phone, the minute I check my phone, it's going to be harder to study the Bible. Now, I'm not saying studying the Bible is an unpleasant task, but to my carnal nature, it feels easier. Looking at my phone, checking my WhatsApp is more interesting than reading the Bible. So perform the unpleasant task first, then do the other things. And then double S is self-control and self-denial. Yeah, so that's like my how can I call it?
STC.
No, don't learn. This guy just needs an amen.
Yeah,
But then
there's
for,
no need
for me to
learning.
go and apply at home. Is
You
yes.
can
See him
watch
later.
the repeat on YouTube.
Oh, but to that again, you can watch the repeat of this show every
Yeah.
Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. Thank you. And also don't forget to interact with us on social media platforms. It's Hope Channel Kenya on Facebook and Hope at Hope_Kenya on Twitter. Send us your views on how do you think we can learn to manage our time. We are not the best. We are not the best. We're also learning at this. We are sharing what we know so that we can make ourselves better. It's not like we are the best.
No.
Don't take us sisi ndio tumefika. We are human beings just as you are. We are of carnal nature. We are learning to share. And so that I have a friend, an elder friend, who tells me what you share is echoed back to you, to the sense that it becomes more prominent when you share it than when you keep it to yourself.
This friends of you is one.
Gloria,
No.
My circle is influential.
I'm glad.
Eh? Yeah, and let us learn to keep friends who are going to enable us to better ourselves
Yeah.
in different spheres. Now, I'm glad that we have talked about this, and right now that this is an issue that came up, our young friends who have Tokad High School, okay, not really completed, but then they're in their long holidays just before they get to
Yeah.
school. A parent once told me that, yani, watoto wakikujanga home, the first thing wanafanya ni they'll not do that to you, but then kwa kichwa kuzile za so it's not like they're remorsed that you came home, but then they're just remorseful on how you're going to use your time. And I'm sorry to say this, that most of them, I'm not judging anyone, it's just an overall statistics, most of them will use it on social media, socializing, and it's more of pleasing self. I don't know how we can approach it. Yeah, I'm glad that you said that we should learn to do the unpleasant things first before you get to the pleasant ones. But then how can we contain the pleasant ones so that it might not stretch? Because sometimes we are, being that we're forgetful in nature, you know, that's how like, oh, alafu ukifika jioni, it happened. How can we contain that?
Now that you were making reference to the point that I made earlier.
Noted.
Yes, there are some things which are pleasant, but poison can be sweet. Yes, poison can be sweet, and I think
Sijaona hiyo bado lakini ni sawa.
yes,
I want to apply in
sweet poison. Poison can be sweet. So some things which we think are enjoyable, we need to look at the long-term effects. It has been demonstrated that exposure to TV for a certain number of hours in a week actually reduces your intelligence, for lack of a better way to put it. You're making yourself dumb, and you're increasing your chances of getting your Alzheimer's disease early in life. So some things that we think we enjoy, we need to sit down and reconsider. If I have, think about it, we have 24 hours in a day. 8 we are using sleeping, so we have 16 left. The 16 that we have, 8 we use in the course of the day. Let's say maybe you're reading, or you're in school, or you're working. So you imagine you have 8 hours left. You want to use these 8 hours, 6 hours of that you want to use on TV. You know, even if you've completed everything, you've done everything that you're supposed to, you've cleaned the house, whatever, in 1 hour, and then spend the next 7 hours watching TV, you're killing yourself.
Yeah.
You're spoiling your eyes, you're increasing your chances of becoming obese, among other things. So we also need to evaluate if something is useful. Phones are good, but to some people maybe it may not be a good thing, because people do a lot of nasty things with their phones as well. Yeah. So just say no. If something is bad, just say no and put
Learn
it
to
aside.
say no.
Yeah. Mimi ni mhenga.
Leo umehengua vitu kadhaa.
I don't know if Wala bin Wala is watching.
But I think for also bring that point that we should evaluate, because hata zile vitu ziko pleasant, if overdone, ziko harmful. But then, in short, let me paraphrase. No, let me just say what I said, so that you can quickly move on to the next aspect. The poison is in the potion. Amen.
Poison is sweet.
And the poison is sweet. So let us, this goes to a let us learn to evaluate everything. You might think that it is useful, but then I actually think this is something that we have fallen short. Sometimes we think that doing this particular thing, it's useful, but then not in that particular time. Sometimes we fall short. We are doing actually good things, but then the wrong time.
For sure.
And that is one thing that is we might probably be thinking we're doing the right thing, lakini if you look at the timing, it just puts it off. So let us evaluate everything. Let us know if you're 16, it's time to be in school. Study. If you're 28, it's time to marry. And do other things. If it's
Gosh.
just as the Bible says, it's time for everything.
Yes,
Sorry,
yes.
sorry. Are you saying people should get married at 28?
I mean, that was my issue, though.
I'm not saying that. It was an example, for example.
That was my issue.
For example.
Yeah.
For example.
Please let me.
Yeah.
Please note, for example, this.
Because hiyo ni kufungia watu.
Sana. Just saying.
Kwenye kwa 23 nataka kuoa.
No. Kuna wenye wanaweza taka
No, don't mind. It's okay. It's fine.
Just leave alone our late moments, but let's learn to evaluate everything. Look at, as she said, look at your priority. Look at the time, and know where you're headed to. Focus on the target. Let's say focus on the target. And equally about multitasking. This goes to all the ladies. I don't know if this man is very good at multitasking. Are you?
Your words, not mine.
But you can say connect to multitasking.
Yes.
This goes to all the ladies. There is nothing like multitasking. You can be able to do two things at a go. But then there's an old wise lady that told me you cannot burn two sticks at a go. Na zote zichomeke sawa. Moja itaungua, na ingine itakuwa sawa. So let us be wise and make wise decisions. With that said, I think it's about time that you should bring out.
You said it's about?
It's about time.
Okay.
It's about time. Everything is time.
No
time.
pun intended.
It's about time that we should get a biblical example of how best we can use our time, because we can talk about it. That is one way, and I'm glad that we're hoping that the viewer who is at home is interacting with us in our social media platforms. I'm not saying that you should not watch TV right now. I believe this is going to help us better ourselves. It's about time that we should get that example, and if we can emulate it and bring it, if we can liquefy it to our own lives and see how best we can use it, it will be very proper for us.
An example, a favorite one, but it's jotted down. Colossians chapter 4 verse 5. It says, "Be wise in the way you act towards those who are not believers, making good use of every opportunity you have." Don't take it literally that believers, not believers of the word of God or anything, but believers of time wasters. You know, we're talking about time, so let's keep it real. Be wise in the way you act towards those who are time wasters, making good use of every opportunity you have. You know, let's talk about the youth. We have a very good opportunity in our life. He talked about, get inspired. You said something about getting inspired. You have to be inspired, something of that sort, I think. But let me come up with my own quotes now, this time, proverb. Get inspired, but don't get expired. You know, you sit down, get inspired by every day. That opportunity you have, make use of it, enjoy it, because it's the Lord who has given you a chance to live and see every day, and time goes by, energy is used and everything. But don't get expired by sitting and just waiting for manna to fall from heaven. Use it.
That reminds me of something I used to say in high school. Seek to inspire before your time expires.
Aspire to
inspire.
I always used to laugh at that.
Expires.
Let it just not be a song.
Yeah.
Let it be an actual desire for every one of us. Because personally, I think if you don't leave a mark on earth, then you just better didn't come.
Yeah.
It's not being rude, but it's being factual. If you're not going to make a positive mark to humankind, not only to humankind, also to our spiritual journey, personally, I don't think we are worth saying that we lived. Just as she said, that dash between 00 something or 19 something should account for it. And when God is going to come and ask you, I gave you time, what did you do out of it? Let's not say, nilijenga nyumba, nilikuwa na familia and all that stuff. You know, something that has always echoed to my mind and to my conscience is that we are here, we are on earth seeking the best for each one of us. Nataka grow, nikue a big house and all these good things, riches and all that. But then we forget something. When God is going to come, He's not going to ask you how much money do you make on earth. I gave you this amount of time. There's somebody who will say, well, for the little time that you gave me, that is around 40 years or 80 years, I was able to do this for you, not for myself. Personally, this is my conviction. I'm hoping that you will also add breath and rather, I stand to be corrected. God has given us time to make the best out of us to work for Him. Because if He gives me this airtime that we enjoy right now on Hope Channel Kenya, it is up to us to be able to use it unto His glory and to reach out to further more souls. HT.
I agree.
Add breath.
You had asked for a biblical perspective
Yeah.
last time.
No.
See what I did there. There's an element that I want to bring in. Mark chapter 1 verse 35 talks about Jesus rising up a great while before day and going out and went into a solitary place and praying. I think Jesus was a guru in time management. And you know, he woke up, spent time with God in the morning, then went about his business. So just to bring in that element, I usually, this is now I also have a quote.
Please do.
Yes.
I think we should stop with this. I have a quote.
No. I mean, it's time.
And I can be quoted.
He's young. Let him use his time.
A man's success has a lot to do with what time he goes to bed and what time he wakes up. There's another way of saying it, early to bed, early to rise, but I've modified it so that I can copyright, have it against my name. Yeah, so I think how waking up early has a lot to do with your success in the day, but waking up early has a lot to do with what time you go to bed. And I think Jesus is a perfect example. He was very responsible, he was temperate, and because of this he was able to accomplish everything he accomplished in 3 years' time. But coming on to what you'd asked earlier, I agree that, basically I agree with you. Let me not talk too much.
It calls on stewardship on time.
Yes, she did say that.
Can you emphasize on it? Because my director is telling me our time
Is up.
is quickly coming to a close.
And we're having a good time. What's a steward? First of all, what's stewardship? Sorry.
Yeah, what's stewardship?
Stewardship
And
is a
stewardship
whole,
in regards to time.
it's a whole other topic, but it's being accountable, knowing that you're accountable for the things that you have and you possess. That's from Ecclesiastes 12 verse 13 to 14. It gives more breath, like what you're saying about Christ coming. And just to add a bit on what H2 was saying about Jesus being an example in all things, Jesus had a secret, yeah? And managing time is not easy. Time is like water. It's like, it flows,
Very fast.
It's by the time you put a stone, sometimes it goes over it. It's not that easy. So you need a manager, yeah, for your time. And so I'd advise you to take God as the manager of your time. I'd advise you to take a field manager, like literally called Jesus, who is always interceding for us. And thirdly, I'd advise you to take a personal assistant called the Holy Spirit, which will guide you. And trust me, that's a secret that Christ lived. Secondly, Christ was very objective in all that he did, yeah? He had a mission and he had to stick to it. Sometimes it's not that easy to stick to a schedule that you say, 8:05 to 9 I'll pray. I've tried that, it backfired. Mom is a witness. But if I put an objective for the day, I try my best to achieve it, and I look back and say, okay, I didn't do this today, let me try this tomorrow, and I'll be a better time manager with that objective in mind.
To manage time calls for a highest level of discipline.
Yes.
Which is not self-obtained.
Yeah.
But it's highly bestowed.
Yes.
Highly bestowed. We do hope that you have been having fun and learning on how to manage time and identity. We do hope that we have impacted our lives, both from with our interaction and to our viewer back at home. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
HT, you had something to say?
Yes, one quick one.
One quick one.
Proper time management is a habit, and a habit can be acquired.
One quick word. as she thinks about it. That was an ambush.
Definitely.
Uh-huh.
Yes, one quick one is, I think what I just said really summarizes
You
it.
summarize everything.
Yeah.
If you missed it,
Manager.
kuna repeat Wednesday, na tutaweka kitu kwa YouTube.
Yes.
Quickly, as we wind up.
Today's procrastination is tomorrow's, oh my God, why didn't I do this?
Mm-hmm. For a moment, you almost got me lost, but then I think I caught up.
Yes.
Don't, oh my God, the things that didn't happen. There's one person who always reminds me and tells me that he that saith, I regret or I wish I could, is a fool. Choose to be wise. Let us manage our time. Let us make God primary in everything that we do. Not unless we suffer a huge failure in our lives. We do hope that you've been blessed. I've been your host, Samuel Mangi. Until next time, Barikiwa.